Welcome to First Take. I am Shae Cornette. How the heck did I get stuck here in this studio? Look at Vince. Vince is waking up with us too this morning on First Take because it is very snowy in New York, exactly where Stephen A is not, and neither is Kendrick Perkins. Look at what you guys are missing. Look at the screen. This is what the roof of our building looks like right now. Can you believe this? And yet we still made it here. Good morning, S.A.
Allow me, good morning, everybody. Allow me to say a few words, please. First of all, to my man Big Perk, wherever you may be, but obviously it's not in New York. Smart man. Shae, the dedication is admirable, no doubt about that. Vinny, the same to you, but I will remind both of you, when it comes to the purposes of First Take, y'all are rookies. This is what comes with it. When you are in this kind of inclement weather, you understand. I mean, the veterans might find a way to get out there, but y'all being the rookies that y'all are for First Take, this is called paying your dues. I'm very proud of both of you. I'm very proud of both of you. Way to go.
So what is this, like one snowstorm and then we're out? And then it's like veteran, I think it's one.
Stephen A. with the iguanas out there can't say anything to anybody. My brother, I don't want to hear a thing from you this morning, all right?
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
I understand. Like I said, rookies. I mean, I paid my dues for many, many years. I was in Bristol and New York in weather like this. It's y'all turn.
All right, fair enough. Perkins, you got a haircut? We'll get to you in a minute. By the way, Team USA had a historic gold medal win over Canada, in case you missed it over the weekend. PK Subban will join us shortly to break it all down. But we begin with the NBA last night because the Celtics and the Lakers went to town, and the Celtics just blew them out in LA last night. Jaylen Brown scored 32. Peyton Pritchard had 30, including 6 threes and 8 dimes as the Celtics scored 111 points. They held the Lakers to just 89, their second lowest point total of the season. The Celtics are now 5.5 games behind the Pistons for first place in the East. Meanwhile, Jayson Tatum's return is looming. Here was Joe Mazzulla when asked about him practicing with the team last week.
So did Jayson practice yesterday?
He was at practice.
Did he participate in any of it?
Okay, so we don't really know if he practiced or not, but the point was is that he was there, and I'm not even sure it really matters. When it comes to how far the Celtics can go, can they go as far as the Eastern Conference Finals without Tatum? What do you think, Perk?
They can go to the NBA Finals without Tatum. One, they have one of the best coaches in the game in Joe Mazzulla. Number 2, they have the best two-way player in the game in Jaylen Brown because no other player in the league is doing what he's doing for us, being top 5 in scoring and top 5 defensively in opponent field goal percentage. And number 3, they probably have the most championship experience out of anybody in the Eastern Conference. When you talk about their culture, we saw last night Peyton Pritchard, reigning 6th Man of the Year, NBA champion, lit the Lakers up for a 30-piece wing dinner, all flats. And here's the crazy thing. They are the most dangerous team in the NBA because they have zero expectations. They are literally playing with house money. And that is a dangerous thing when it comes down to the things that I just highlighted with their culture, the coaching staff that's led by Jaylen Brown, who's the best two-way player in the game.
I wouldn't mind it if he said Jayson Tatum coming back means that they can go to the NBA Finals, and we know what Jayson Tatum would look like if the Celtics were to get to the NBA Finals. But without him, I don't see the Celtics getting through 3 playoff rounds in the Eastern Conference with New York there, Detroit there, maybe Cleveland a half step back. I think that's too much to ask of a guy like Jaylen Brown to play at this type of level without a real secondary score. Like, I know Peyton Pritchard scored 30 last night, but to ask him to do that through multiple playoff series as teams start to scout you and defend you a little bit better, I think that's asking much. I think the New York Knicks, I know Stephen A. walked off the set last week because he was done with them, and I bet you Stephen A. is going to tell us in a few minutes that they pulled him back in. It don't take much. I would not be surprised if the Knicks or the Pistons got past the Celtics. I think any of these 3 teams can get there. I'm just not saying the Celtics, because they don't have the secondary score. Now, I agree with Perk that they have championship DNA. I've really come around on Joe Mazzulla over the past couple of years. I just have to see more, and I have to see Jayson Tatum before I'm ready to commit to the Celtics having the ability to get to the NBA Finals.
SA?
Well, listen, first of all, I'm not, there's no reeling back in. I mean, just state your point of view. Don't be telling America what I'm going to think. Leave that to me. I'll let America know what I think. I will tell you this, Vinny, I'm not back in on the New York Knicks. I don't care that they came back from an 18-point fourth quarter deficit against the Houston Rockets. I'm not giving them that because the reason I jumped off the bandwagon is because of one team and one team only. It's the Detroit Pistons. I didn't say the Knicks couldn't beat the Celtics. I didn't say they couldn't beat Cleveland. I couldn't say they couldn't beat Orlando or anybody else. I said the Detroit Pistons. That's the brick wall that the New York Knicks, if they run into, I think they're going home. The same is applicable to the Boston Celtics. Perk, I disagree with you here. I'm of the mindset that, Jaylen Brown, you want to talk about how far they could take the Celtics. Again, if you're telling me they're not going to face the Pistons, I'd say, hey, you know what? They can take them to the finals. But I'm looking at the Pistons as the best team in the Eastern Conference. And I believe, the team that has beaten the Boston Celtics 3 out of 4 times they've met them this year, despite the fact that Jaylen Brown has averaged 35 against them, I think that it's just too much. I think that the Pistons are loaded, and that's the brick wall that the Boston Celtics would run into as well. So to answer this question, how far can the Celtics go, assuming they don't have to face the Detroit Pistons until the conference finals? I'd say they'd have the capability to get that deep because Jaylen Brown is that dude, and Joe Mazzulla is a hell of a coach, just like Big Perk said. I'm not denying it, no doubt about it. And obviously, when they're clicking on from three-point range, they are something to behold. But I think the brick wall is the Pistons. So I would sit up here and say the conference finals. That's how far he could potentially take them, even though I would still pick the Knicks over the Celtics.
Well, Stephen A. Shae, we're getting soft on first take. We're getting soft because we're letting Vinny off the hook. He still didn't answer the damn question. He didn't answer the question. He gave us all these other hypotheticals, but he didn't answer the question. How far can Jaylen Brown carry the Boston Celtics? We don't know. Can you answer that first?
Perk, let me be clear if I didn't answer the question. To the second round, I think if Boston has the second seed, that puts them on the line with either the Cavs or the New York Knicks. I don't know if they can beat the Knicks without a really healthy Tatum in the second round. Can they beat the Cavs? Yes. So it all depends on the matchup. It's not that I didn't answer the question. It's just that we don't know exactly what the playoff seeding looks like. If they're in that 2 line and they're playing Cleveland, I'm taking Boston. If they're in the 2 line and they're playing the Knicks, I'm taking the Knicks.
Well, let me say this to you. One, home court advantage is going to matter in this postseason. That's why I strongly believe that in the Eastern Conference and in the Western Conference. One guy that we're not highlighting or we haven't mentioned is a guy that just won a gold medal and played a huge part. Matter of fact, he actually was picked over Jaylen Brown to go represent our country and played a vital piece and a vital role with getting minutes. He actually got more minutes than Jayson Tatum, and that's Derek White. He's still one of the best two-way players in the game. Probably is going to be a guy that's going to be first team all defense in the NBA. And when you think about what he's capable of doing, when you look at what he's able to do offensively, he didn't have a great offensive night last night. But this team has structure, they have culture, and they have guys who don't give a damn. And for you to say that you don't know if Jaylen Brown could carry a team in 3 or 4 7-game series or 3 7-game series to get to the NBA Finals, I have to remind you that Jaylen Brown, okay, is a conference finals MVP. He's an NBA finals MVP. And Jaylen Brown also broke up a happy home that caused arguably the worst trade in NBA history. It's the reason that the Dallas Mavericks got rid of Luka Doncic is because Jaylen Brown exposed him in the NBA Finals. So when we think about what this young man is and what he's capable of doing as being the best two-way player in the game, I'm not putting anything past him. I'm not picking them to get to the NBA Finals, but I wouldn't be surprised if we look up and the Celtics are back on that main stage.
Well, the one thing that I would say to you, Big Perk, is that soliloquy that you just went on regarding Jaylen Brown, while absolutely positively accurate, because the brother's big time, he's a stud, and he's a leading candidate for the league MVP honors, him and Cade Cunningham. You know what? To sit up there and bring up Derek White, who obviously is a tremendous player and a tremendous asset for the Boston Celtics, and to just mention that he was picked on the Olympic team ahead of Jaylen Brown without highlighting why is a disservice to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown wasn't on the Olympic team for political reasons. That's the reason why. It was not basketball reasons that kept that. Well, you didn't say that, is my point. You didn't say that. Just like Vinny didn't say that how far Boston was going specifically. You didn't say why Jaylen Brown was left on the team. That's right. You smile at me because you know I'm right. You give me that smirk. Don't try to mean mug me like Uncle Perk. You understand, at the barbecue. You give me that smile because I'm absolutely right. Jaylen Brown is an elite player, has been an elite player in the NBA for years, and politics kept him off of the Olympic team because of his position about the sneaker companies, because of how outspoken he was on various issues affecting NBA players and professional athletes. It was held against him. He should have never been left off the team. He was robbed of participation on that damn team. There is no way in hell, and I love Drew Holiday, and I love Derek White. There is no way in hell both of those players, two members of the Boston Celtics, who spent 82 games a year deferring to him and Jayson Tatum. There is no reason that either of them should have been picked ahead of Jaylen Brown on the Olympic team. But politics played a role. We all know it. Next time, say so.
Saturday night, Karl-Anthony Towns led the charge as New York rallied from an 18-point fourth-quarter deficit to stun the Rockets, 108-106. After the game, Towns caught up with Shaq and the Inside the NBA crew on ABC. Listen to this.
If you guys win the championships, of course they're going to talk about Brunson, but it's you and your play. You have to be dominant. You responded very, very well.
They could talk about anybody as long as we all get a ring. That's the most important thing.
No, but
I don't care.
But
I don't care about none of that.
No, but you got to play great. 1-2 punch, and you part of that 1-2 punch.
Hell yeah.
All right.
But, you know, I want to make sure we all understand the biggest goal and the main goal here is to win. You know, it don't matter about who gets the credit or whatever.
And
I just want to be part of the
play
ring.
great.
All right, so Shaq, a little hard on Cat. Perk, you like it? Did you like that from Shaq?
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it all across the board. That was an uncomfortable but healthy conversation. That was the best conversation that we've had in basketball this year, because everybody keep talking about, how people cover the game and it should be covered this way and break down. No, that's accountability. That's real on real right there. And Karl-Anthony Towns was accepting that, because in that conversation, he told him, I hear you, legend, because Shaq is giving him the real. And I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. Jaylen Brown, yes, he's the best player on the New York Knicks, but the most important player is Karl-Anthony Towns when it comes to the Knicks trying to get to the promised land. He has to be dominant. And what we've seen over the last two games is that Karl-Anthony Towns has finally started to get featured in that offense. Karl-Anthony Towns is the emotional guy. When you want the best out of a big man, you got to make him feel loved. And that's what I saw. We're watching him get more shot attempts, mixing it up. He's going inside out. And all of a sudden, he becomes a better defender. Karl-Anthony Towns is the most important player. I loved every bit of that interaction between Karl-Anthony Towns and the all-time great Shaquille O'Neal. That's how it's supposed to be.
I think sometimes Karl-Anthony Towns is an easy target for all of us for a lot of different reasons, whether it's the contract or the fact that we know that Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be the trade piece. I know, Perk, I know. But remember what the Knicks did after they traded for Karl-Anthony Towns. They traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, a player who came in scoring 25 a game, but is a role player for the Knicks. And he's not the most physical guy. He doesn't get to the line much. Like, the Knicks have roster deficiencies, is what I'm saying, that extend beyond Karl Towns' shortcomings. I do think that Karl has shortcomings. I do think that it has been an adjustment with Mike Brown. I actually asked Mike Brown on Saturday night, like, hey, how do you feel about Karl's play? Because he's taking a lot of attention. And he said, Jalen Brunson gets this many shots, Karl gets this many shots, and everybody else sort of has to find their way. And Karl said, you know what, I've had to adjust my game every year in my career because offensive philosophies have changed. Once again, Perk, I'm with you on the criticisms of Cat. I think sometimes when you look at someone like Shaq, Shaq has a very rigid view of what big men are supposed to look like and play like. That's not Karl Towns. Karl Towns is not a 90s offensive player with his back to the basket, Hakeem, David Robinson, Shaq. He doesn't fit in that mold. He's a different type of offensive player. I'm not saying that they're being unfair. I am saying, guys, that sometimes we focus way too much on Cat and not enough on the offensive and defensive deficiencies that extend beyond him.
Well, Vinny, with all due respect, I don't want to hear that. That's nonsense. What do you mean focusing too much? Hell with all of that, okay? It's a 1-2 punch in New York. He's one of the 1-2 punches. Now, if you sat up there and you said over the last 2 games he's averaging 26.5 on 63% shooting, if you pointed out how he's had 4 straight games with 20-plus points, right? And because of that, you need to continue to do that, then I understand that. But don't come to me and tell me about Shaq's rigidity and whatever. He is a 4-time champion. He is the most dominant big man this game has seen since Wilt Chamberlain, okay? And in my opinion, he is more than qualified to say every syllable that he said. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns is a different kind of player, so Shaq wasn't just talking to him about being a big. He was saying that you the 1-2 punch. So don't defer. You know, we understand that it takes a team to win. We understand this is a collective effort that's needed, but in the same breath, in the end, when it comes money time, who are we looking to? Who are we looking to? We hope that Mikal Bridges shows up. We hope that OG Anunoby and Josh Hart and those brothers make their contribution, but the expectation falls on the shoulders of Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. So for Shaq to point that out, I think was incredibly important. And most importantly, the brother wasn't two-faced it. He said it before the game and then told Karl-Anthony Towns what he said before the game and let him know to his face, here's where I'm standing and why. But most importantly, Shaq did it in a way that validated Karl-Anthony Towns' substance and potential greatness, not minimizing it. He's saying, here's the expectation because we know what you can do. And props to Karl-Anthony Towns for taking it that way, because most cats will look at it, even with a legend like Shaquille O'Neal, and accuse him of hating, even though he did what they did. Even though he played on their level. This is why you know they full of it, okay? They're full of garbage because you got players out here that'll sit up there and point to hating. It's a journalist. It's a pundit. It's somebody with their podcast or whatever. But then they'll take somebody who did what they did on the highest of levels and hold it against them too. So in other words, if they ain't agreeing with you, if they ain't playing the role of your publicist, then they'll hold you accountable for it. When all you're doing is pointing out what the obvious is. So I give Shaq major credit with that. Only one caveat I'll throw in, Perk, before coming back to you. I don't know if you know this or not. We do know Karl-Anthony Towns. Minutes per game, career low. Points per game, lowest since rookie season. Shots per game, career low. Field goal percentage shooting, career low. 3-point percentage shooting, lowest since his rookie season. But here is the crazy part. In 54 games that Karl-Anthony Towns has played with the New York Knicks this year, when he attempts 14 or more shots, the New York Knicks are a 500 team. When he shoots 13 or less shots, they're 20-4 on the year. That's crazy, because that goes against what Shaq was saying, but both me and Perk agree with Shaq. But it's weird that they 20-4 when he shoots 13 or less shots, and they're 500 when he shoots 14 or more. That's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy, but another thing I want to look at is what was it to me, that wasn't really criticism. That was actually Shaq giving him flowers because if Shaq didn't think he could do it, then he wouldn't call Karl-Anthony Towns out and say that he could be great. I'm gonna tell you this. I spoke with KG towards the end of his career when he was Karl-Anthony Towns' mentor and teammate, And he told me that Karl-Anthony Towns was one of the most skilled bigs he's ever seen. We didn't heard Patrick Beverly, who played with Karl-Anthony Towns, say that he's one of the most skilled, most talented bigs that we've ever seen. Karl-Anthony Towns over the past 2 seasons have been to back-to-back conference finals. I watched him go toe-to-toe with Nikola Jokic, who's considered one of, if not the best player in the world. He outplayed him, in my opinion, in that series 2 years ago. He came over here, he helped the Knicks get to the conference finals. Again, Karl-Anthony Towns is not just one of the best shooting bigs that we've ever seen. He's one of the most talented bigs. And all I'm saying is this. Stephen A., Vinny, Shae, put me up on the screen because I want to tell y'all something. Quick story.
You are on the screen,
Doc
big
Rivers,
boy. The screen is yours.
I'm talking about I need to see y'all, little boy. You calling me big, I'm going to call you little
Did you
today.
just call me? Did you just call me little? Did you just call me little? You just call me little? You understand? You just called me boy?
Hey,
call me. But thank you for the point part, because I'm older. I'm older than you, so I like that. I actually like that from you.
But listen, seriously. Doc Rivers, and I'm nowhere on the same level as Karl-Anthony Towns skill-wise. Doc Rivers used to trick me every single game and run the first play for me and made me feel like I was going to be involved in offense because he knew if he got me an easy basket, I was going to be engaged and be able to give everything that I was supposed to do in my role to help the team win. All I'm saying is Jalen Brunson and Mike Brown, just stroke his ego a little bit. Feed the big fella, and you'll get max Karl-Anthony Towns.
So I didn't take any offense. I didn't think he was offending. Shaq was offending Karl-Anthony Towns. But let's take out this interview completely and go back to what Vinny kind of said really quick. Do you think that Cat gets a lot of the blame for the Knicks' deficiencies? Do you think people are harder on him than some of the other players or some of the other issues? Take out the Shaq interview completely. I'm just saying other pundits or maybe us in general. Go ahead, Stephen A.
I think at times, because he's had some foot issues, some knee issues, and you look at him post and it just seems a bit awkward, and he's not that kind of big. His gift is his ability to shoot away from the basket. This brother has been a marksman from long range throughout his career. That's why at nearly 36% shooting from three, that's considered a down year for him because he's considered an elite shooter. Me personally, what I would tell people to pay attention to is that a lot of stuff isn't coming his way the way people think. The person we're looking at is Mikal Bridges because of the 5 first-round picks you gave up for him. That's where the New York Knicks come in. It's about those picks. It's not so much about Karl-Anthony Towns. Yeah, he got to play better at times. He got to be a bit more consistent. But we know what Karl-Anthony Towns can bring to the table. It's them damn picks.
Isn't that what I said
Hey, Shae,
at the
real
start
quick,
of this,
let me
and
say
you
this.
said that it was nonsense, Stephen A. That is exactly where I started off at, Steve.
Vinny, we didn't say that you didn't say that. We said that you didn't answer the question posed. That's what we said.
I did answer the question. This is the second time that both of you have accused me of not answering the question.
We were saying
we
you
are
didn't
not doing that,
answer the
Stephen A.
question.
I've answered the question.
We didn't ask about Mikal Bridges. We know you said about Mikal Bridges. We were saying to you, that wasn't the question.
All right. We'll leave this
Straddling the
here.
fence a lot today.
We'll leave this here. We'll come back to the Knicks a little bit later.